program made possible by Kentucky Circuit Court Clerks. Thank you for your support.
My previous career has been in nursing and education. I was a hospice nurse. Then I got into education, so I kind of came full circle and got into the helping kids determine which path they wanted to go in the medical field. And I had KODA speakers come into my classroom and speak, and knew that that was definitely a passion that I had, and I would love to be able to spread the word of hope as much as they did. Myths happen because someone was told something by what they thought was a reliable source, and they didn't investigate the truths. And that's what we try to do in our department, is to dispel those myths. One of the largest ones we hear is that they won't try to save me if I'm in an accident, and that is so far from the truth. Their passion and their job is to try and save you. That's their career, that's their license. Of course they want to save you. Plus, if they weren't trying to save you and keeping oxygen going to those organs, they could not become a gift of life. It has to happen in a hospital on a ventilator for oxygen support to the organs at all times. And the match process is lengthy, and the discussion with the families is extensive so that they understand the process when they're making that decision. One of the other myths is that I'm too old or worn out and they wouldn't want anything I have. And that's very far from the truth too. Our oldest donor in Kentucky was 84 and saved 3 people's lives. And the oldest tissue donor in the United States was 107 and was able to give sight to 2 people so they could see their loved ones' faces. That's the most awesome gift. So no, we're never too old or worn out. There's no illness, no diagnosis, no social status that's going to keep us from being on the registry and giving that hope. Each person has to make their own informed decision, and when they're educated, they can do that. Many people mistake brain death and coma as one and the same, and it's not. A coma is a deep sleep. When you get your tonsils out or your wisdom teeth cut out, they do a medicated coma, and they wake you up and you go about your normal daily life. Brain death is totally not that. When oxygen is cut off from the brain cells die permanently. And when the brain can no longer function to tell the heart to beat and the lungs to breathe, they're considered brain dead. And that's the only time that someone can become an organ donor. Only 1% of the people are going to die in a way that they can become an organ donor. We're going to die of things like dementia or old age or a sudden heart attack, not brain death. So it's very rare, and that makes me sad because I definitely want to be able to help someone with a gift. You know, my family's been touched on both sides. We've had transplants. We've had those that did not get the call in time. But my son-in-law's brother, and you know, my son-in-law's my family and his family's my family. And my son-in-law's brother suddenly collapsed for no known reason. They never determined a reason why. And when he died of a brain death, he left a wife and 3 little girls under the age of 6. And their lives are changed forever. And Tim was the best daddy in the world. He could curl hair and paint fingernails with the best of them, put makeup on for cheerleading competitions. I tell all my people that I talk to, you'd have to work really hard to be as good a daddy as Tim. And KODA always lets the families, donor families, know a gender and an age that a donated organ went to save a life. And the one thing that Tim's wife Amy wanted to know was that she sure hoped a daddy got something so that they could be a daddy a little bit longer. And when they got the letter, the very first paragraph was that a 42-year-old daddy still gets to be daddy. Tim's legacy lives on. Something good has to come out of something so tragically sad. It's the only thing that helps our hearts to heal and lets us go on. So, knowing that it's not in vain is crucial. Knowing that other families get to enjoy their families the way that we enjoy ours, it's the only thing that can get people through grief. So it absolutely is the right thing to do. If KODA and Trust for Life wasn't here to educate and to recover the gift of life and to be able to give life to other people, that would just be so devastating. I can't imagine needing an organ to cure my family member and not to ever have one available. Just to be able to have more time with their family, another birthday, another time around the Christmas tree together as a family, whether it's 1 year or 25 years. The gift of life is precious, and we absolutely want to honor that. One of my favorite sayings is that everyone is somebody's someone, and that someone deserves a chance to be with their family as long as they can. When we don't need what we have anymore, we need to pass that along to let somebody else have that extra time with their family.